So let's talk about, since Alzheimer's disease is at the root of so many cases of dementia, let's talk a little bit about what actually happens in a person's brain if they have Alzheimer's disease. In your handouts, you see two pictures of the brain. You see this picture right here, the cortex. That's the outer surface of the brain. It's, it's wrinkly, it's gray. It's what you think of when you think of the brain. But if you had X-ray vision and you could look through that cortex right into the guts of the brain, you'd see a set of structures here called the limbic system. Think of that as this engine deep inside the brain. In that limbic system, you see, I want you to find the hippocampus right there and follow that up till you get to this little knobbly part right there. I want you all to find that in your handouts, and then I want you to circle that little area. Circle that hippocampus. And you know I'm having you draw, scratch, circle, scribble, sketch things that I really, really want you to remember, right? And I really, really want you to remember this little piece called the hippocampus. But nobody's going to walk around their daily life probably talking about the hippocampus, right, Steve? You don't walk up and down the hall saying, boy, well, it's a tough day for my hippocampus today, right? Or maybe after this seminar you will be, Steve. We're going to, so to help everybody remember it, we're going to rename the hippocampus. We're going to rename it the memory glue guy. So I want you to cross off hippocampus, and I want you to rename it the memory glue guy. We're going to rename it the memory glue guy because that's exactly what it does. Now, even as I'm standing here, you are not going to believe it. Maybe you will. I just realized I'm missing a key piece of my audio-visual session right here because my memory glue guy was bad. Anybody have a Post-it note I can borrow? All right. Fantastic. So let's talk about, thank you, let's talk about this memory glue guy. Let's talk about how he works. I picture him. He's a little dude, lives in my brain, and his job is to filter through all of the information that comes to us in the course of a day. Things we see, things we hear, things we taste, things we think about, things we experience. All that information goes right to our memory glue guy. And in a heartbeat, he has to figure out, am I going to glue this information into a memory, or am I going to let it go? So here's what he looks like. There he is. Picture that little dude living in your head right now. So this morning, I wake up. That's my guy. He's serious, right? He's got every kind of glue. I mean, he's got the hot glue gun for serious things that really need to get glued down well. He's got everyday Elmer's glue for run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. He's got a couple of glue sticks. He's got a Post-it note. You know, he's ready to roll, right? So I wake up this morning. It's March 6th, 2012. And tell me I'm right on that. Yeah. Okay. I forgot the Post-its, not the date. Okay. So I wake up this morning, March 6th, 2012, and I'm thinking mostly about getting ready for this seminar. But while I'm getting ready for the seminar, real quickly I gobble down some breakfast. I have some yogurt and a cup of coffee. So lickety-split, that information goes to my memory glue guy. And my memory glue guy, lickety-split, decides that what I have for breakfast on March 6, 2012 isn't really vitally important. So all he does is he pulls out a Post-it note. He scribbles it down fast. For March 6, 2012, Aaron had a yogurt and a cup of coffee. And using one little cluster of cells on my temporal lobe right about there, he just barely hangs that memory on there. There it is. So I can walk around today and I can decide, maybe how much more stuff I'm going to eat for lunch or how much I'm going to eat for supper, because I can remember that I didn't have like a big farmer's breakfast, did I? No, today I was good. I just had a cup of yogurt and a cup of coffee. If you ask me tonight, hey Aaron, what did you have for breakfast today? I could probably tell you. If you see me tomorrow and ask me, what did you have for breakfast yesterday, Aaron? I could probably tell you. But at some point, I'm going to go back home to Minnesota, and I'm going to get busy with other things, and I don't know if a week or 2 weeks will go by, whatever case, and if somebody comes up to me and says, hey Erin, by the way, what did you have for breakfast on March 6, 2012? What will my answer be? I don't know. I don't think they gave me anything. Because where did my memory go? My memory just kind of flittered away. My memory glue guy worked exactly like he was supposed to. He glued down my memory of March 6th breakfast temporarily, as long as he needed to, and it went away. The thing is, for a person with Alzheimer's disease, the memory glue guy is being murdered. He's absolutely being destroyed. So for the person with Alzheimer's disease, how long does this Post-it note stick?
It doesn't.
2 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, on and off over the course of a day. I mean, it's hard to say. We're going to pause right here. I so want you to remember this concept of the memory glue guy that I'm going to have you turn to your sketching page in your handouts. That is page 4. And I want you to draw your own personal memory glue guy. He does not need to be a star. He does not need to have a cowboy hat, but you better give him some personality. When you draw your memory glue guy, be sure he has at least 5 different types of glue or tape or stickum. All right, I want to hear from some of you. What kind of glue and stickum did you give to your memory glue guys? You've got duct tape. You've got super glue. What else? Gorilla glue. A stapler. What else? A nail gun. Excellent. You marched to the beat of your own drummer, Steve. Way to go. What else?
I put hair gel.
Hair gel. That's awesome. What else? What other kinds of glue and tape and stickum did you give to your memory glue guys? Pardon? Push pins, scotch tape. Your memory glue guys are loaded. Your memory glue guys can do the job. But as we mentioned before, for the person early in Alzheimer's disease, the memory glue guy is getting murdered. It's getting ultimately destroyed. So, you have heard people say things, look you right in the eye, toast in their hand, saying, honey, I haven't had a thing to eat. Nobody gave me breakfast. Honey, I just didn't have anything to eat. Honey, can I just get a cookie or a cracker? Raise your hand if you've heard that. Sure evidence that something's wrong with the memory glue guy. And yet the best of us, in the best of places, find ourselves responding like this. Honey, you know you had breakfast. You remember I gave it to you myself. We had eggs and toast this morning. We would not feed you. You know that. Raise your hand if you've heard that response. People with the memory glue guy being murdered may say, I haven't gone to anything here. They don't take, nobody told me there was a singer this afternoon. I stayed in my room the whole afternoon. And you know they've just come back from the singer. Raise your hand if you've heard that. And the family believes it every time, right? And the best of us in the best of places find ourselves saying, well, of course you did. We didn't forget you. Remember we sang, You Are My Sunshine, and you sang it right along. Don't you remember? Raise your hand if you've heard that response. A person with a murdered memory glue guy may see her son every single Wednesday afternoon and say, well, they've just dumped me here. They've just absolutely dumped me here. I can't remember the last time I've seen them. They don't even come around anymore. Raise your hand if you've heard that. And then we hear the response from the son, perhaps. Mom, I'm here every Wednesday. You know that. Mom, every Wednesday I come in. We went out to Five Guys Burgers last time. Don't you remember? Raise your hand if you've heard that. The implication for us, I think, in our profession, the implication of this is to eliminate the phrase, don't you remember. Don't you remember is usually, you won't see this in your handouts, you can just stay in your sketching page. This phrase, don't you remember, is said out of kindness. It's said from a good place. It really, really is. But don't you remember can only make the person feel a little bit more foolish, a little bit more non-successful, a little bit more scared that they're losing their brain. So in most cases, if the person believes that she is supposed to, or if the person believes she hasn't had breakfast, the person believes she's been left here, the response is, I am so sorry. Let me get you some toast. I'm so sorry. I'm sure your son will come in soon. I'm so sorry. Let me help you with that. Instead of, don't you remember. Now, because I want you to stay, because I want you to remember this so well, what I'd like you to do right now is I would like you to murder your memory glue guy. And here's what I mean by murder. Don't just scribble him out. No, 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 no. I mean murder him. Shoot him, stab him, hang him, poison him, do something very graphic. Your neighbors ought to be able to see the manner of death.